Hey, welcome back to Fully Defined. My name is Chris, and this is the Lego Build and Learn series. Now, we've finished our assembly, but there's still work to do. Not work to do, this is all fun and play, but there's still lessons to be learned from the modeling that we've been doing. This lesson today is about assembly cleanup. It might sound boring, but when you look at a product like this, and you've got 100 odd plus parts, and you need to catalog them, know where to find them, how to reference them, okay, it's important to be organized. So this lesson, I take you through my thinking and explain to you how we've ended up saving and controlling our file names for our parts. Let's get into it. Now, there's something I've been tossing around as far as ideas with how I name these files and how I split them up. Originally thinking that I would want something like this part, a flat plate to be a configuration where there's multiple versions of that part all within one, and that I could add custom properties to each of those configurations. And I could see those custom properties when I'm doing a drawing or something along those lines. Trouble is, if I'm creating a new assembly, let's say completely new Lego assembly, which uses that part, it's very difficult for me to identify the exact version I need off the bat. I would need to go into the plate file and then navigate to the correct configuration and then insert it. But a simple way of navigation might be to get these files to match exactly what we see on this screen here. So if we go to single page view, and we can see here where all of the parts are identified by number. If I have that number in the file name for the part, and then if I'm rebuilding an assembly or somebody wants to reference a particular file, it's going to be very easy for them to find it. So what I'm going to go do now is go through all the parts in my assembly, save them as, which means I'm duplicating them, and I'll be renaming them to match the actual part number. Now, there's a few things that I need to be aware of when I'm doing that, and that's particularly around the parts that have configurations. If it is a configuration, I'll have to save a copy and then replace the original part. Because if let's say this plate that's 2x3, and this one that's 2x6, if I save this one as this number, 302, this instance of that part in the assembly, this instance of this part of the assembly is also going to have the same part number, which is different, right? So I have to look for this instance, save it as a copy, and then replace it in the assembly. So there's a little bit of fiddling around here, but I think once I get the system locked down, I'll be good from there. So let's go ahead and do that now. I'm going to go through the steps in order because it'll be easier that way. Now, first one, plate 2x, I'm going to save as, and to avoid the issues I've just described with different parts being replaced, I'm going to save them all as a copy and just rename them. I'm going to start with the number 3022201, and then it's going to be plate 2x2. Save as a copy and open. I'm going to keep the original document closed. So this is my plate 2x2. I'm going to leave all the configuration information in there. There's no need to remove it. I'm going to go back to my assembly, and this part here, I'm going to go replace component with plate 2x2. Now, if I know that there are multiple versions of that plate, which there's two that are used, if I can find the other one, I can replace both at the same time. So where's the other one used? There. This is a bit of a slow process. Here, but you can see how many configurations I've got of that plate 2x. It's in the rear wing. Here, okay. So this one as well. So both of these parts, I'm going to select both, and it's right click and go replace component with the plate, only the selected ones, press OK. Now, because it's exactly the same file, I haven't changed any geometry, I've just changed the file name. There should be no issues with any of the entities changing over. I'm going to press OK, and now I can see both of those have been done. That's perfect. That's exactly what I want. All right. And all I have to do here is go through. Yes, it's going to be a bit of a pain, but go through my assembly one by one, find the part. Okay, so I'll just go down next in line. This is now a different part. Now I can see that there's 4 instances of this part. So if I find the other 4, and another way I can do that is I can turn on my filter. Okay, so I'm searching 2x. You can see there's another instance there, another instance there, another one there. Now this one, is that going to be green as well? What step is that? It's in steps 10 to 19. Is there a second green part? I see one green part there, and yep, one below. So that one should also be green. And that's like the next level, is I think there's different numbers depending on whether the part is one color or another. Do we have any example of that in this product? Yes, we do. So if you have a look here at these two parts, the white one is 371001. The green is 371028. So this adds another layer of description that we need to add to that file. In that case, what we want is part number, file or part name, description, and then color on the end, because we can't have multiple versions of the part number. The color will relate to the number, but the descriptor will remain the same. That's how I can find, let's say I'm building a new assembly and it's using one of these four stud plates, but it's a different color. It's going to have a different number. I'll be able to find it because the description will be the same. I'll go back to the that first brick I did. There's no other versions of that in this, so I don't need to change anything there. And the description plate 2x2 isn't fine, but I will change that to be white. These ones are going to change to a description of plate 1x2 green. So let's open one of them, save as, copy and open, and number wrong, 302328, plate 1x2 green. What this also means is we can actually apply the material to this part file. All right, save. Now back into our assembly. These four parts we're going to replace with that new plate 1x2 green. That's okay, and that's done. And they've dropped off this filter. We can see all of them there have been updated. Let's update this one to white. Just going to save this one as, just renaming it, close. Okay, so I think you get the idea. I'm not going to talk through any more of this filtering, but I am going to go through the process and record it so you can just see in time lapse how long it does take. Let's go. Right, now we are done. So, just over an hour to rename all those parts. But now everything has a color and a part number in the file name of the part. So I'll be able to find them again if I need to. And when we go through to create a drawing of this, we do a bill of materials. Hopefully it's going to spit out the same quantities that we have in the instruction sheet here. So, not too bad. Now, the last little thing I want to do in the assembly, look, there's a few more things we're going to do in the assemblies, but one simple thing is actually getting it in the right position for exporting, for rendering and other things, other images. There's a few parts that can move. I've mated the steering wheel, but we've got these lights on the front that can move as well. I actually want to tilt the whole thing up. You know what? We'll save that for another time. Hey, thanks for watching all the way to the end. Really appreciate that. This has been the LEGO Build and Learn series by Fully Defined. If the next video has been released, it'll be on the top link to your right. Please hit the thumbs up and subscribe, and leave a comment below with what you'd like to see next. Your feedback is what motivates me to provide more content. See you in the next one.